Hey, thanks for listening, downloading, and supporting Indian Motorcycle Radio. This week, a little chit-chat between friends. That's all right, isn't it? I'm talking about an imaginary lounge and grill that I have in my mind. You ever have a dream that's so vivid, you can describe it all the way down to the gravel? Welcome to Indian Motorcycle Radio, and I'm your host, Reverend Ken Blanchard. This is the show about Indian motorcycles and the people that ride and love them. This is episode number 31, and I'm talking to Rick Gordon today. Nothing long, nothing hard, just easy like Sunday morning conversation. I want to thank the one or two of you that have supported the podcast this month on buymeacoffee.com/motorcycles. There's nothing like having somebody validate you saying, hey, dude, I like what you're doing. Keep going. And encouragement means a lot. buymeacoffee.com/motorcycles. And that would make us a listener-supported podcast, which you can't beat that with a stick. I want to share with you a dream that I had. It sounds like this. Check out the new Big Wheel Grill and Lounge on Route 301, right outside of Washington, D.C. Big Wheel welcomes all motorcyclists, vintage car enthusiasts, and barbecue lovers to its delicious, fun-filled, family-friendly site. Big Wheel. Stop by, stretch, share a story, eat, drink, and be merry at Big Wheel. Now, Big Wheel's not a real place yet, but I'll explain in our conversation. Coming up next. You know, one of the good things about being a motorcyclist, a rider, enthusiast, a biker, is that the people that you meet are cool. And that's pretty much what this podcast is about. If I had the opportunity, you know, like somebody just threw a whole bag full of money out of the window and I picked it up, and nobody would catch me, I would probably start a biker bar, a motorcycle bar that I could just make it as a pit stop, a place where folks would come out, drink some coffee, adult beverages, buy some swag, hang out, and do what we do as motorcyclists when we're not riding. There's a culture that we have, a language that we speak, and in general, the folks are pretty cool. So right now, this podcast for me is my virtual bar, my virtual nightclub, my virtual spot on the highway. And right now, I'm talking to Rick. Welcome to the show, man.
All right, it's good to be back. I would love to see a real life brick and mortar version of what you're talking about, because we've had this conversation before. And yeah, being a motorcyclist and it's hard to describe to a person that is not in it. There is a commonality, a thread that runs through all of us that defies culture. It defies age. It defies everything. Over the last couple of weeks, I've actually sold something and I've bought something online to people that I had never met. And it is the ultimate exercise in trust. The first thing I sold one of my seats, because I upgraded the seat on the Chieftain to an Ultimate. So I wanted to get rid of the Corbin seat that I had. So it wasn't cheap. It was, a $500 purchase for the buyer. So that entails a lot of trust on their part and on mine. It's a two-way street. And the transaction went through flawlessly. Everybody's happy on both sides. And I met another person who has something in common with me. And, we've made that connection. Now, the same thing happened when I just bought something. I bought a pair of slip-on exhausts because I want to do a stage 1 upgrade from a guy out in Missouri. And again, it was $400 that I had to give to the guy, sight unseen, but he did everything correctly. He showed me pictures of the receipt at the post office. He kept me up to date. I'm tracking it. as we speak, and it's on its way here. So that's a great feeling. And we've had conversations in between all of this, just talking about bikes and talking about life. And again, I made another connection. And I feel confident that if I was ever in Missouri and found myself in a jam, I could probably call this guy and he could help me out. And I know he probably feels the same way.
Yeah, that
Those
number
are the
of
type
people
of
is
people you would
huge,
have
man.
in your place.
Yeah, yeah, that place is huge. It's because of this podcast, I've connected with like at least 30 people like that. They say, hey man, if you're ever in Ohio, if you're ever in New Mexico, if you're ever in Canada, Lincoln, man, I got a nice map right now to ride. I could just go from point to point.
Mm-hmm. It's a great feeling, especially now with COVID. It's kind of forced everybody underground, and you make your connections where you can.
Yeah.
So, but as I'm driving along, if there was a Brinks truck in front of me and the bag popped out of the back, they
I
just
know,
kind
right?
of waved me off and said, "Go ahead, keep it. We were just going to burn it anyway."
Right.
The thing I would love to do is similar to what you had in mind. I would like to open up a boutique type bike shop that would have mostly vintage bikes. A lounge area. Just again, a place where you can just go and hang out.
Oh yeah.
I used to work in a comic shop years ago, and that was like the whole thing. People would come in, grab their books, but then they would just hang out and talk to other collectors. And it was that camaraderie that really kept that business going. And I think you could do the same thing, with a bike shop. Now, dealerships are kind of tricky because dealerships really do reflect the attitudes of the owners. Like, I know there's one guy up here, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't like to talk about people out of turn, but you walk into his store and he's got his desk up on a platform where he can overlook the sales floor. And as a black man in America, to have somebody watching you as you're going through a store is just very disconcerting. And you don't feel welcome. So,
does he wear a white suit and have a bald head?
I'm not going to say.
I'm picturing Kingpin here.
Yeah. So, it just makes you feel uncomfortable. I like going into a place like the Indian dealership that's nearby. They've got like a little lounge area. They've got some magazines and books about Indian, and they got all the swag. They could be a little better at talking to people one-on-one. If I'm just looking at a bike, that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy. So just don't walk away if I tell you I'm just looking.
Yeah.
At one point, the owner came up, and it's an older guy, and he had kind of given the business over to his sons. But he talked to me for about 45 minutes, and we talked about everything. And that kind of sealed the deal, I like that interaction.
Yeah, there's a fine art of service that's kind of going away.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
But my little fake club, man, I've dreamed about this thing for years. Like I was going to even have used bikes on the floor. Mm-hmm. If somebody wanted to sell their bike, it would be all dressed up and sitting in the floor in between the tables, as almost like decoration. Just like people have, sometimes restaurants will have like works of art on the wall saying, selling by consignment. I'd have the same thing. So there'd be like bikes all around the place. And I
like that.
Then I even thought I was going to get a giant Ferris wheel from an old carnival and put it up on top of the building so that you could see this giant wheel for miles. And it's going to be real gaudy, like south of the border stuff. And the name of the place was Big Wheel. That was the name of it.
Big Wheel. Wow. I like that. Now, where would you put this place?
Some highway spot, like, especially since COVID now, this is like the prime time. There's so many businesses and old places that have kind of like fallen apart So I'd buy some old building and retrofit it.
Mm-hmm.
Get my big old Ferris wheel stuck in the parking lot and all lit up.
So the emphasis on your place is going to be the social aspect, not so much the retail part. The
Yeah.
retail part is just extra. That's just gravy.
Yeah. I was even looking for like a Checkers to buy like a corner spot of it so they can sell burgers or something.
Uh-huh.
I'd sublease a spot for some greasy food.
See, I like that idea because, like, even if you want to do like a charity ride, where are you going to go meet up? You don't want to meet up in front of some firehouse. You want to meet up at your place.
Yeah. It'd be a
Start
spot on the map.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Oh, I'm cruising through town. I'm driving through somewhere. I need to just stop, unwind, bike's heating up a little bit. I just want to sit down and grab a burger. Where am I going to go? I'm going to Kenn's.
Yeah. I'd even have a spot in case you got like soaked and you wanted to dry yourself off. I have like a whole room of like hair dryers or something.
Wow, you really thought this out.
Yeah. I just didn't have any money. Yep. On the side is a huge cigar spot outside, so folks can like be undercover.
You're making me angry now. I should have thought of this.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm cruising through town and my clutch cable breaks, I see your spot. I push my bike up there. Are you going to help me out?
Yeah.
I know you may not
somebody in that joint. Somebody in there is a on-call mechanic dude.
Okay.
Because you might have came from a long distance for this thing.
This will work.
Yeah. And I figured I had to be rich because it wasn't going to be making that much money coming in. So it'd take a while to get the love.
Well, we don't know that.
That's true.
This COVID thing is still pretty new. And think about it. Look at the sales that Indian did versus everybody else. I think their sales were up like, 20, 30% in the middle of a pandemic.
Oh, wow. I
It's
didn't know
unheard
that.
of. So there's some pent-up demand there, especially for riders, that I think is going to bust wide open. This spring is going to be crazy. I think we're going to see a crazy amount of bikes on the road.
Yeah. I remember when I lived in England and it rained. It rained every day until about May the 13th. And then the sun came out and people just quit work and went outside. People were just taking off their clothes. They were taking their bed stuff and throwing it out on the grass and making it like a makeshift beach. It was amazing. It was like they had never seen the sun before. I think the same thing is going to happen when COVID is over and everybody's like, okay, it's going to be hard to go to work. Folks are just going to like lose their minds. Everybody's going to be on vacation, parties, concerts. It's going to be one big Mardi Gras.
Yeah, definitely.
At least in my little brain.
So what have you been doing during this long winter solstice to kind of either keep your mind off of motorcycling or keep your mind on it? I mean, what's your go-to move? What's keeping you centered?
My guitar. I actually, when I was a little kid, I got a guitar for Christmas, but I didn't really learn how to play it. I just had a desire. Every day I look at it. And then when I grew up, life happened. I never touched the thing. And then when I got married and life slowed down just a little bit before all our kids came, I bought a guitar and I thought, yeah, one day I'm going to be good at this thing. Well, I never quite made it until the last couple of years. So during this COVID time, I've been spending at least 15 minutes to a couple of hours practicing. And I'm having a blast right now. Only took 40 years, but it's all right.
Listen, if you can come back to it, that's great. I bought my guitar at the garage sale. It was a hollow body Gibson from way back when. It was beautiful. I just sat there and listened to blues records and try to be as good as John Lee Hooker, Muddy Waters, and everybody else. It was terrible, but I didn't care because I was having fun.
I know, right?
But then, like you said, life gets in the way. But I think I know what I did. got myself into a little bit of trouble and had to come up with some cash real quick for a lawyer. So
Oh yeah.
sold
Life.
it off to a friend who turned around and sold the thing for like over $500. It's like, I wish I'd known that.
Wow. Yeah. Stuff we don't know.
Yeah. And I'm a very forgiving person. I still talk to the dude almost every other day. So no hard feelings.
Yeah. It was just recently that I realized how much the guitars are worth that I had sold for like way less than they should have been.
Mm.
But so since this COVID, I've become a real guitarist. I mean, I've been like eating, sleeping, and drinking this thing, wearing out the
Good.
YouTube videos, calling people. And I was so determined last year that I was doing some research. And on Facebook, there's this guy named Dean Zielinski who has like these really beautiful guitars. He puts these ads, they're all over the place. As soon as the algorithms hit you that you like guitars, this stuff is going to pop up. And
Right.
that dude was like, it was like a snake charmer. He was pulling me in, man. I was like, wow, look at these guitars. So I thought, all right, I got a podcast. Maybe I can get him as a guest. And
There you go.
I had never heard of this dude until I saw these guitars. And I called him up, and he was cool, man. He was old school, from Chicago, and he was famous in the guitar world, and I didn't know it. So I had to get a guitar from him now. And he had such a backlog because now, just like the bike sales, guitars are hot. So
Right.
he was like, well, what do you want? And I thought, all right, give me one of these. And it took about 2 months, and the guitar came out, and I didn't like it, which was really weird. So I called him back up, and I was like, can I trade this back in for something else? And he was like, sure. What do you want?
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It blew me away, dude. It blew me away. So then another month and a half came by, and I got the guitar that I love. And this dude is the guy who made the guitars for ZZ Top in that video, the fuzzy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a whole bunch of other like hardcore rockers back in the day. We had a great conversation, and I call him a friend now. And so now I got this signature guitar that I got to work up to because I want to be, this is going to be my Lucille.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, I had the opportunity of seeing B.B. King live once, and it was amazing
Yeah.
because he is just sitting there, just playing, and just nonchalant. We just had the conversations with, the band,
Mm-hmm.
people in the audience, and just without even thinking, his fingers are just flying all over, and it sounds perfect. He breaks a string, restrings his guitar without even losing it. I mean, he didn't stop and sit down and restring. He just kept playing with what he had left and would like restring it, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. The greats do that. I saw him I saw him once with Johnny Winter, and I had never heard of Johnny Winter, right? So they were both playing at this really big outdoor amphitheater near me, and I had a Suzuki Cavalcade back then.
Oh wow.
Big touring bike for Suzuki, and
Yeah.
I rode up into this parking lot, and all I saw was Harleys. I mean, there must have been 1,000 Harleys in this parking lot. That's how many bikers were there. And
Wow.
I thought, oh, this is like the biker dudes. This is not this the outlaw dudes. These the dudes that scare you, right? So
Right.
I'm driving this Japanese bike in this giant area of American-made bikes, and I'm thinking, this bike will not be here when I come back. They will throw it off this cliff because there was like a huge chasm where the parking lot, kind of ended. And I thought, yeah, maybe I should park it back there way far away from this group right here. And then this dude shows up. He comes in with this giant Easy Rider looking bike with the ape hangers.
Mhm.
And he pulls right next to me, and he's looking at me like he can read my mind. And he says, yo, brother, you here to see Johnny Winter and BB King? And I said, yeah. He goes, don't worry, the brothers ain't gonna touch your bike. And I thought,
Wow.
can you read my mind? He goes, yeah, it's 2 spaces right here, both me and you. And I was like, uh-huh. So I pulled in there, cut my bike off, put the kickstand down, and we walked in there together. And they were Hell's Angels, there was pagans, there was some serious criminal element in that joint. But because we were all into the blues, it was all cool.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, and my bike wasn't there when I got back.
We'll have to do another episode about my time in the motorcycle club world.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dip my toe in the water there for a while. It was interesting. A lot of interesting things. So, have you settled in on a bike that you really, really want yet? I know you keep saying Roadmaster, and I keep trying to talk you out of it. Don't discount the new Chiefs that just came out.
Oh, tell me about it. What you see?
He just released a brand new Chief, Chief Bobber, Super Chief. It's kind of like a mid-sized cruiser that kind of fits between the Scout and like the Chief and the other touring bikes.
Okay.
Very stripped down. It's got the Thunderstroke engine in 111 and 116. So it's pretty beefy, and from what I've seen, people's reactions to it, because Indian is touring with these bikes all over, doing their demo thing. People seem to like it. I guess it's nice and fast and powerful, and it's got that real nice retro look to it. I think they compare it to like a Harley Softail.
Oh, okay.
It's in that range, but it fills a blank spot that I think Indian's had for a little bit. What I would love to see Indian put out is an updated version of the 4. That would be amazing, and I think they seem to be listening to the public now. They seem to be, really paying attention to what the riders want or don't want, and if they could put out a 4, their lineup would be complete. I think they'd be in really good shape because I don't think Harley is doing that well at this point.
No, not at all.
They tried going after the younger market and kind of fell flat on their face, and they just have to keep marketing to us, as we age out.
Yeah, I just realized
about it.
I just realized myself. You gotta pay attention to your niche. You gotta stay in your lane. If you only have 5 people, but there are 5 people that you love, you're blessed. Be happy. You don't have to have 500 of people that don't even know you or like you.
Yeah. I mean, they threw out that big net to try to capture the youth market, and from what I've seen, kids don't even like driving cars nowadays.
No.
Not like it was when we were kids. So motorcycles are almost out of the question with millennials.
That's true.
So just keep selling them as we keep getting older.
Yeah, they're more liable to buy a Vesper than they are an Indian.
Something electric.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta have that big sound. I don't know if I can do an electric bike.
Or a scooter. I'm not doing that scooter, man.
Dude, I saw a scooter rally in the city once, and it was terrifying because there were thousands of them, and they were just ripping down Broadway, and it just took forever. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh wow.
This is too many.
Too funny. Man, I want to thank you for the videos. The videos are awesome. Gonna make sure I share them with the folks on our Indian Motorcycle Radio Facebook page as well.
Yep, just a little something that I'm doing in my downtime. I'm getting that itch. The weather's been getting increasingly better, and there's still some snow on the ground, but I fired the bike up this morning, and just it took a lot for me not to open that garage door and just get out and go. But gotta be smart about it.
I know, right? Take your time and heal.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, man, thank you for blessing me for this week. And this episode will go up as soon as I get off the phone.
All right. Can't wait to hear it.
This is my brother Rick from New York. Thank you, man, for all you do and for being my partner here on Indian Motorcycle Radio. All right, another cool thing that happened this week is that I got a email from a dude up in Canada, a person in Australia, and I didn't know it cost me like $1.10 to send the decals up to Canada, but it's on its way. You should get it soon, man. And to my brother in Australia, they have to go through a different process to get their license. They have to actually register the engine size of the bike they're riding. It's a weird thing to me, but I had never known that before. So, man, thank you for doing that. And he found us on our Facebook page, Indian Motorcycle Radio Facebook page, which is growing. How cool is that? Well, if the money falls off the back of a truck or I hit the lotto, which is going to be pretty hard since I don't play it, but somebody gives me money and I can create this gigantic thing called Big Wheel, you'll hear about it. Big Wheel. Well, that's it for this week. I don't know what your religious thing is, but just know that I'm praying for you. All right, my friends, that's it for this week. I want to thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to your favorite righteous podcast, Indian Motorcycle Radio. And may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon you. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. Kickstands up. Let's ride.